and I think your viewers will have seen what would have happened as a result of the coverage. What we're doing in Kent is providing some additional visible patrols. These are additional to what would normally be in place in order to protect the public. Now, we have no intelligence at all that anyone in this county is at greater risk than they were. But you're right, the scenes were so shocking, so barbaric. We want to make sure that we work with partners such as the military, other institutions, community leaders, to make sure that we reassure the public and we keep people safe.
Just going back to last night, now we took shots, our reporters took shots of what happened around here in Maidstone. They saw extra police cars, extra security. Was this acting on intelligence that something was happening in Kent as well, that we should be worried about some concerns of our soldiers here, or was that just a reaction to the barbaric attack?
Well, it is a contingency in case other intelligence came to fruition that indicated there was heightened risk against any groups. But what I'd be keen to reiterate is that we have no intelligence to show that anyone else is at increased risk at all. But we have put additional patrols on the street to reassure the public.
Now, just going back to now, literally hours after that attack, as you know, the mosque in Gillingham was attacked, Qurans and windows smashed in. What do you make of this? Because we've spoken to Azim Nadar, who's the General Secretary at the mosque, and he's very concerned about what happened and relations in the community. Can you just go back to what actually happened and then answer my next question of relations in the community?
Okay. I can't comment on an ongoing inquiry, a live inquiry as it is. But in general terms, what I would say is our relationships with local communities, local community leaders are very, very good and very strong. And that's come about as a result of years of working with communities to get their confidence. The other thing I would say is that if there are any attacks on vulnerable people, minority communities, Kent Police will not tolerate it. There will be a zero tolerance approach to any activity like this, and we will bring to weight the full force of the law against criminals who would look to break the law.
But are we going back to square one, that this has happened, that someone, God knows if they've been stimulated by the internet, by young extremism? Are we going back to square one with something like this just hours after these attacks in Woolwich?
I don't believe so. I don't. And like I say, I can't comment on a live investigation because it is a live investigation. We do unfortunately have criminals in our community. We do have people who cause trouble. Thankfully, in our county of Kent, they are very few. And even more thankfully, when people like this do act up, do create problems, Kent Police have got a very long and proud tradition in bringing them to justice.
If you can clear just a couple of things up for us. We've been told that soldiers in and around Kent have been told not to wear anything that would give away they are soldiers, like uniforms. Is that correct, to protect their security?
Well, that is news to me, but that would be a matter for the military. I have been liaising at a very senior level with the military in relation to issues like this, and I'm unaware of that advice being given.
And the same goes to what we've heard in Canterbury. A mosque leader there has said, that Muslims should actually not go out after dark in case they're attacked. Have you heard anything about that?
Well, again, that's not advice that's been pushed at all by the police, and I'm unaware of that advice, and that wouldn't necessarily be advice that we would support. We want people to go about their every normal working day lives to enjoy this great county and feel safe when they do so.
Last two questions. In terms of Friday prayers, which are happening tomorrow, I'm sure a lot of Muslims must be concerned and a bit fearful of the fact that what they've seen in Woolwich and what perhaps has happened in Gillingham. Are there going to be extra security in around mosque in Gillingham and around of Kent if Friday prayers continue, and it could be an access point for terrorists?
Well, as I said, there are additional patrols that we have put on the street. This isn't about using our resource base in the same way. I've authorised additional patrols to be out there, a visible presence, working with local communities, working with community leaders to make sure people do feel safe when they go about their everyday business.
Whereabouts are these patrols in particular?
All over the county.
Any particular presence with extra police?
Well, we've obviously looked at where we believe, working with other community leaders and other institutions, where tension points could possibly occur, but that's as a result of intelligence that we would have, previous history, previous offending patterns. So it's a complex patchwork but we try to derive meaning from that and put patrols where we believe they would be best suited to protect the public.
I promise my last question. Obviously, we've just heard in the BBC that apparently these two people that have been arrested were known to security agents of, plotting something, as barbaric as that. Are you looking now in your terrorism unit, obviously a Cobra meeting's been called, but are you looking here to find out, checking who's on what list and making sure that something like this doesn't happen here?
Well, these types of things are monitored at the highest level every day, 365 days a year. Like I said earlier, we want to keep our communities safe. Unfortunately, there are some people within the community who want to do bad things. We do our absolute best and have got a good record and a proud tradition of frustrating them and bringing them to justice. And we will not waver in our task in protecting the people of this county.